Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of Listen to Me. Listen to Me, Volume 19. And today, I am here for a very specific topic, the topic of the big heavyweight fight tomorrow from the Rock of Gibraltar between Dillian Whyte and Alex Povetkin. The rematch between two of the top 10 heavyweights in the world for the WBC Interim Heavyweight Championship, which signifies a shot, a guaranteed title shot at the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the world. Now, the interim title, it's irrelevant, really. Dillian Whyte had that belt, had that distinction, was ranked number one by the WBC for, what was it, 700, 800 days, 1,000 days, I don't know. Whatever it was astronomical. The guy waited way too long for his WBC heavyweight title shot against the then champion, Deontay Wilder. There was a situation where he was the number one contender for the WBC for more than a year, yet the WBC ordered a fight between Dominic Breazeale as the mandatory for the WBC against Deontay Wilder. Not Dillian Whyte, who was ranked ahead of Dominic Breazeale, who was ranked number one. Regardless, this is a big rematch in the career of Dillian Whyte. Why? Since his first career loss to Anthony Joshua, he won something like 11 straight fights. And he beat the who's who of the heavyweight division. He did. From Lucas Brown, who was a WBA regular world champion before getting stripped for some sort of banned substance, I believe. Whatever the case was. An adverse finding, whatever it was. But prior to being stripped and prior to getting in the ring with Dillian Whyte, Lucas Brown was not only a WBA champion, but I believe he was undefeated. What did Dillian Whyte do? He stopped that guy. Beat that guy from pillar to post. Beat him up bad, beat him up distinctively. Beat him up in a convincing fashion. Stopped him. I think it was in the 4th round, maybe the 5th, but he stopped that guy. Who else did Dillian Whyte beat? Derek Chisora, twice. 2 great fights. Second fight, knocked him out. Both fights were close. The first fight was a split decision. It was close. I believe it was a split. But the first fight was very, very close. Could have went either way. Dillian Whyte got the nod. Okay. I happen to think the fight could have went either way. It's very hard for me to score that fight. I've scored it a couple times. Usually a draw, to be completely honest. That's just the way I feel when I watch it. So either way, I'm okay with that first fight. But in the rematch, in 2018, in December, in what I felt was, a very underrated heavyweight fight for that year. Because, it flew late in the year, it flew highly under the radar, but it was a hell of a fight. And what happened? Dillian Whyte stopped Derek Chisora, and I believe it was the 11th round. And he may have been coming from behind. Hell of a fight. Great scrap. Dillian Whyte got the best of it. Who else did Dillian Whyte beat? Joseph Parker, who was a former WBO heavyweight champion of the world, who had only one loss prior to facing Dillian Whyte, and that was to Anthony Joshua, the unified heavyweight champion of the world. The same guy that had beat Dillian Whyte. Yet when Parker and Whyte got in the ring, Dillian Whyte won. Who else did Dillian Whyte beat? Oscar Rivas. Oscar Rivas is a pretty formidable heavyweight. Top 10, top 15, definitely. Good fighter, only one loss on his career, and that happens to be to Dillian Whyte. Now, all these things considered, on his 11-fight win streak, prior to facing Povetkin, he was focused on the WBC shot that he won. And he still seems to want that shot, but I hope Dillian Whyte is not looking past Alex Povetkin, because there was a tremendous competitor in Alex Povetkin. Alex Povetkin, a former WBA regular world heavyweight champion, Alexander Povetkin, with only 2 losses on his resume in his career. 1 to Vladimir Klitschko, number 2 to Anthony Joshua. The 2 most dominant forces of the heavyweight division of the past 20 years, more or less. I mean, outside of Tyson Fury and what he's been doing, but let's not kid ourselves. As much as everybody likes Tyson Fury, as much as I like Tyson Fury, he's very inconsistent. He's never defended a sanctioning body's championship. Yes, he beat Klitschko, then what did he do? He took a hiatus. He beat Wilder for the WBC title in the rematch. Forget about the first fight that was a draw. It doesn't matter how we feel, how it was scored. The fight was a draw. He didn't have a sanctioning body's title. Since becoming the WBC champion, has he defended the belt 1 time? How long has it been? Over a year. Over a year. So for as cool and as great as Tyson Fury is, and I am anticipating the Fury and Joshua fight upcoming, but that's another video, that's another topic, that's another day. That's another edition of Listen to Me. This edition of Listen to Me is about Povetkin and Whyte. And in this rematch, with everything at stake, with everything on the line, repeat of revenge, I see revenge. The first time, Dillian Whyte was winning every minute against Alex Povetkin. I'm not saying that Alex Povetkin didn't touch Dillian Whyte, didn't hit him prior to knocking him out. He was hitting him. But Dillian Whyte was hitting Alex Povetkin a lot cleaner and a lot more often with a lot more authority. And he was bouncing him off the mat. He was bouncing him off the canvas. He was. I don't remember if it was 2, 3, or 4 times that Povetkin was up and down off the canvas. But I know in the round prior to Povetkin scoring the knockout on Whyte, Alexander Povetkin was on the canvas twice. For certain. Dillian Whyte was winning every minute of that fight, and Povetkin, he lined up a shot, and he scored. Povetkin scored with a thunderous uppercut, and that was it. But I don't see the same thing happening tomorrow night. First and foremost, Dillian Whyte was a little bit defensively irresponsible in the first fight. When he was bobbing and weaving and ducking and diving, he wasn't really looking at Povetkin. His eyes were more hidden or on the canvas, looking down. No matter where you move in boxing, the principle is to keep your eyes on your opponent at all times. Whether it's his midsection, his chest, or his face, his head. Your eyes are to be on your opponent at all time. Not just to see where he is to hit him, but to make sure you know where he is so he can't hit you with a shot that you don't see. Getting hit with a shot that you don't see is more dangerous and more painful and more likely to cause a knockout than getting hit with a harder shot that you do see. That's a fact. You don't see it coming, you don't get to brace, your lights could go out pretty quickly. A tremendous punch could come at you if you see it coming. Not always, but if you see it coming, you can brace, you can roll a little. Even if you get hurt, even if you get knocked down, you may not get knocked out because you saw it coming and you can prepare just that much. Just that much. However, when you don't see the shot and you get hit, it's lights out. Especially in the heavyweight division. You got guys out there, 200, 220 plus pounds, throwing thunderous shots at one another. And Alexander Povetkin is a guy who at mid-range to inside is deadly. Has been his whole career. He lost to Vladimir Klitschko, he lost to AJ. He hurt both of those guys. Both of those guys were hurt in their fights by shots on the mid-range to inside from Povetkin. Povetkin's that guy. He's that good. They don't give out Olympic gold medals for nothing. They don't give out the WBA, title for free. These things don't come in the mail when you send in, 10 proofs of purchase. That's not the way it works. But in the rematch, I see Dillian Whyte doing what he did against Rivas. Boxing more responsibly with more defensive responsibility. And I see him looking to outpoint Povetkin or outbox Povetkin early. However, I see in the second half of the fight, Povetkin being an older guy, a guy with some miles, I know age is just a number, but let's be realistic. Povetkin has been in some wars. He's been in some big fights. The last fight with Dillian Whyte was no walk in the park. He was bounced off the canvas and had to pick himself up to score that knockout. Povetkin was in a war to win the WBA title when Teddy Atlas was in his corner all those years ago. That fight was not easy for him. Povetkin was in a war with Klitschko when he got stopped. Povetkin was in a war with AJ when he got stopped. So Povetkin's got some mileage and he's 40 years old. So in the second half of the fight, I see Dillian Whyte stopping Povetkin with responsible shots, lining up something crisp, and I have a feeling it's going to look similar to Dillian Whyte, Derek Chisora 2. I see that big left hook from Dillian Whyte landing when Povetkin may not see it. Late in the fight. And I see Dillian Whyte winning the fight. Cherry on top is the knockout. And if you want the sprinkles and the whipped cream to complete this Sunday of a pick, I'll call the 9th round. I'm calling Dillian Whyte by a 9th round knockout of Alex Povetkin tomorrow in Gibraltar. Catch it on DAZN here in the United States. Catch it wherever you can. I know over there in the UK it's Matchroom. Catch this fight wherever you can. It's going to be a great one. My pick, Dillian Whyte, KO, round 9. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Dreamland Boxing's pick. Until we meet again, my friends, it's been your pleasure and not mine. I love each and every one of you, but not nearly equal. That's just the way it works. I mean, let's be real. Some of you are my family. Some of you I might not barely even know. But I respect you just the same. Till we meet again, my friends, I'm the Dream. Been your pleasure, not mine. Peace.